Alrighty. How you guys doing? Good. I don't know if I believe that, especially these four over here, after what he told me. But, so chapter 6, leadership attributes. Everybody went through this word for word, verbatim, right? Correct? Okay, liars. But anyway, focused on leadership. So, I think we all, when we say leadership, there's so much nuance to it, but there's so many things that come to mind, be it our personal experiences or what we see on TV, correct? Okay, some nods, good. So what makes a good leader? There's so many answers and you can take it so many different ways if you wanted to. I think if we went around and there's 50 people in here, we would have 50 different answers, but kind of hopefully in the same vein. So we all have people that come to mind, like I said, what attributes do they possess that makes them who they are, that makes them stick out? So are they born, or can they be shaped, trained, or to what degree? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Not all 50 at once. Anybody? Yeah.
Both. I
Both.
think a leader can be born and can be shaped into a leader.
To what degree do you think there's definitely some nuance to it, where what do you have to work with from the beginning? This is just your stance, there's no textbook answer,
I just think it just like depends on the person and who they are, honestly.
Okay, good. Anybody else? You kind of wanted to say something, but you're not. Okay, anybody else? All right. So, this is a good quote. I got this from actually an account. So his name's John Maxwell. He's really great as far as leadership, also inspiration, be it either personally or professionally. But this is his friend Jack Welch. Before you are a leader, success is about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is about growing others. So, my personal opinion, you hear a lot of, I'm a self-made man, right? You hear that a lot. I'm a self-made woman. We all had help along the way, be it parents, be it friends. There's very little that you do on your own, and if you think you did it on your own, reflect a little bit. And there are a lot of people that guided you to get where you are, be it in this classroom paying for college, be it a high school teacher that really pressed you to go to James Madison, that pressed you to pursue nursing or engineering. There's a lot of people along the way, and they're each leaders in their own way. So traits versus types. Traits are regularities or trends in a person's behavior, as I'm sure you remember from reading chapter 6. People tend to lean into what they're good at, and this can make predicting future behavior more accurate. If you're a good singer, what are you going to do? Sing. If you're good at playing sports, what are you going to do? Yep, exactly. So environment matters, obviously, personally, professionally. Spaces like the workplace can have rules and regulations that limit the degree to which somebody relies on natural traits. I've been in the workforce. I graduated college in 2020, so I guess 3 years now, and there's a lot of rules that don't apply to when you're an undergrad, and those do kind of regulate what you're able to do, the freedom that you have, and you can't always be truly authentically you, but you got to fit in the guidelines of work. So, what are types? Types are putting people into psychological categories that show key similarities and differences in their preferences. What types could one be is the question I'm sure all of you guys are wondering right now. So, how many people in here have heard of this test or have taken this test? Pretty much everybody. I certainly had. So, certainly undergrad, even I think we took it in one of my classes last year. The test is immensely popular in higher education courses and formal leadership and team building. Why do you think it's important?
Put people on teams that work well together.
Fit matters, environment matters. Anybody else? back to you for at some point. You gotta prove him wrong.
I raised my hand, but I have the same answer as him, so
Okay.
I can't really add.
I got you. So the types. Extroversion, introversion, I think we all know. And we can be kind of, similar to that. Some moods, I want to be at home, some people want to go out. Where do they get their energy? So sensing, intuition, how do people view data? Thinking, feeling, how do people make decisions? Hopefully some of the worst decisions I've made are emotional. Some of the best are I took time to let it bake and not be emotional. Judging and perceiving, how much information is needed to decide and make an action. So why is that important? So it's Socrates, but I had somebody say it's Socrates. I kind of like Socrates, right? That's not the academic answer, but I think it's kind of funny. So to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. If you know how you're going to respond or what situations you're going to respond best to, that's going to be beneficial to you, right? Yes. So self-awareness is the first of the 5 emotional components of emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman. This is actually what my reading and research is on. So that's why I threw this in here. That wasn't necessarily in the chapter. But as you move on, you'll certainly hear about him. So setting up the remaining 4 of self-reflection, motivation, empathy, and social skills. So we have IQ, but we also have EQ. And there's more and more research that is beneficial to EQ of how you relate to people, how they respond to you, right? You can be the smartest person in the room, but if nobody likes you, nobody wants to work with you. Well, who's Daniel Goleman? I kind of said that. So he came out with this book, 1995, pretty recent. I was born in 1997, so I'm going to keep saying that was recent. He is most notable for the connection with EQ and its impact on people's professional and personal life. Not only will this serve you well in work, but also your personal relationships, family, friends, and other relationships as well. So it plays a vital role in leadership, and as it connects people and develops relationships with those around you, while also having a quality relationship with yourself. A lot of what we put out is how we feel about ourselves, right? So if you're in a bad mood and you spilled coffee on yourself, or you paid $7 for a Starbucks coffee and it's not exactly how you want it, that's not the best morning, right? I had one of those the other day. Gosh. Terrible. I listened to John Mayer for I think 45 minutes and tried to chill out. So if you really want to be successful, help others be successful. So I come from a football background. I was a practice quarterback at Liberty, if you keep up with the NFL. Same room with Malik Willis. If you don't have offensive line, you're going to be on the ground a lot. And it's other people that elevate you, so it's not exactly getting the best out of yourself, it's getting the best out of others, and inversely, that's going to get the best out of you. So model comparisons. 5-factor ocean model. So the model is useful for, once again, gaining insight to yourself and behavioral acts that are unconsciously done. So first one, anybody want to read that? It's very long, 3 words.
Openness to experience.
So conscientiousness, that was on the pre and post test, right? Okay, another group of 4. Anybody want to knock that one out?
Extroversion.
Boom, extra credit. Okay, anybody else? What's the last one? Oh gosh, you guys are killing it. Okay, and then anybody want to say that?
Neuroticism.
All right, boom, that was the hardest to pronounce. That's pretty daggone good. Remaining calm, responding well to criticism. I kind of explained that. Not everybody knows the nuance of that. So here's another one. Focuses on what the leader does when faced with problems. Life is much more about reaction, right? There's so many things we can't control, right? So the theory is comprised of 3 different intelligences: analytic, general problem solving, creative intelligence, and practical intelligence, street smarts. I think we all know people that, we were talking about that today, or the other day in class, some people that are just street smart, that don't have the papers hanging on the wall, but boy, are they smart. Now, I think that gets lost. That's another point. I think that gets lost. There are plenty of smart people out there that don't have sheets hanging on the wall that cost $100,000. So great. What does all that mean? So, analytic intelligence is positively linked to effective leadership. Why do you think that is? Because one thing to be liked as a leader, right? But you got to be effective too. You got to get the job done. You can be the nicest guy in the world, but if you're not getting the job done. Okay, so although personality can be much more predictive of emergence in leadership and effectiveness. So you got to sell yourself. You got to get people to buy in, but when they buy in, you got to get the job done. What attitude are you going to take on? Are you going to take on positivity and be the solution? Or are you just going to complain? Because criticism without solutions is what? Just complaining. So if you want to be a leader in the workplace, in the classroom, you can criticize, but how do we fix it? So, cognitive resources theory. This theory tries to explain the interaction between a leader's behavior and exposure to stress. When you're stressed out, do you make the best decisions? No, I certainly haven't. Finals week, you feel a little stressed? Other times you feel a little stressed? Maybe not thinking exactly clearly? That's why I would say test anxiety is a real thing. You psych yourself up and you're like, gosh, how did I miss that? Stress kind of impaired how you were thinking. So the implications, leaders can often pair experience and intelligence. Experience matters. Have you been there? Have you done that? That plays a lot of how you react, but we also talked about in class the other week, every situation is its own situation. Just because you did something in 2013, you don't want to replicate that in 2018. Everything is a little nuanced. You can take foundations of it, don't want to take the whole thing. So, like I said, stress can influence the effectiveness of certain behaviors. Cliche again, pressure makes diamonds, right? How are you going to respond? What are you going to put off? Control what you can control. So, all right, let's wrap this up. So, IQ, EQ, personality, all play a part in leadership, as it is nuanced, as we talked about. EQ has often been shown to make leaders more effective. You got to be good at your job, but you got to get others to be good at their job too, and buy into what you're saying, and want to come into your office, want to ask questions. So the Ocean model and other theories can prove helpful in better understanding leadership and what makes leaders who they are. So when you take these tests, really reflect, how do I think I would respond? What's my strength? Lean into that. What's my weakness? Fix it a little bit, but your strengths are your strengths. That's it. Does anybody have any questions? It'd be great if you did. Oh, okay, that was a head scratch. You got me. Anybody? Good? All right, go ahead. On your test that you have, circle the pre that you just took, circle the post that you're about to take, and hopefully some improvements were made.